Welcome to Creative Glamour's tutorials. My name is Cecilia and I'll be showing you how to use Creative Glamour products to its full potential. Today I'm going to use the new silicone sponge and I'm using the number 1 concealer color. So with the silicone sponge you get a much heavier application because your sponge is not absorbing any of the product. I think it's a fantastic tool for a makeup artist to use instead of using your fingers. This way you can actually apply your makeup, get some spreadability and then still smooth it out with a blender afterwards. I'm still going to use some of this number 15. It seems very dark for a concealer or for a contour color for a light skin model, but if you mix it in with your lighter tone, what makes it nice is it gives a bit more of an ashy contour than a red undertoned contour color, and you're going to use this product very sparingly. So now once all the areas that needs highlighting and contouring is done, I'm going to start with selecting the correct foundation color. I'm going to be using mainly number 5. So you can see with the silicone sponge, it gives quite a heavy coverage. It actually blends surprisingly quite well. It's not as streaky as you would think it should be. When you want to have a heavier application with a silicone sponge, by doing a little bit more of a dab motion than a sweep motion, you can actually get a little bit more coverage on areas that you want. I'm going to use a little bit of number 9 concealer and number 2 concealer mixed just to get to those areas that needs a little bit more coverage. When I want to get a lighter application, I would use a sponge to actually blend this away. And when I want something to stay a little bit more heavy, I would use a brush. So for this specific look, I'm going to go with the brush instead of the sponge, and I'll show you in another one how to do it with a sponge. So this is just a buffing brush. It's the yellow dot brush. And in circular motion, you try and lightly just touch it so all the little lines that is still on the surface just buffs away. If ever you feel you want to increase your contour colors or highlight colors, you can also use this brush to just give it a little bit of a light touch. So using a very small amount of my contour color, I'm just going to intensify it. Remember that you're still going to apply powder over this, so once you apply the powder, it does tend to take away some of your contour. So right before applying your powder, make sure that you go through the areas underneath the eyes. So before you actually use your setting powder, you want to be sure that there's no lines whatsoever underneath the eyes. I'm just going to use a slightly smaller brush so that it's more comfortable for my model. Just using a latex wedge, I'm going to apply my powder, starting with underneath the eye area first, applying it slightly a bit more heavy, and everywhere else a lighter application of powder. The powder is really just to be able to set the foundation so that it doesn't move. After I've applied my powder, I'm just going to use a blush brush and just dust off the excess powder. I'm going to start my eye makeup using my eyeshadow primer. So once you've applied your eyeshadow primer all over your eye area, you can then start with applying your eyeshadow. For this specific look, we're going to show you how to do something with a bit of glitters. So because of that, I will be starting my eye makeup rather with the highlighter color by the brow areas and then moving into my dark color, and then at the end doing my glitters. What I'm going to use now is the blue dot number 3 brush. I'm put on vanilla and glow as a mix. That is going to be my highlighter color just above or below my brow area, above my crease, below my brow. Using the purple dot number 4, I'm going to apply black in the crease. For this specific look, I'm taking my black color and winging it slightly further out. So using my round brush, I'm applying the black color and I'm going to wing it out towards the end. So using the green dot number 5 with no color on, it's also round, it's just that it is bigger. So where the purple dot 1 is a 6mm, this is actually an 8mm brush. So you can get a larger spread. So for blending, it's a perfect brush. You can reapply your black and just lightly touch it in the areas where you want to intensify. So on my same big round brush, I'm using Rust. It's a very reddish tone. I'm just going to give it a hint of more color at the top, blending into the gold. Going over my gold highlighter, I'm applying Halo, just to take that very shininess away, because we're still going to be using a lot of glitter. I don't need it to be that shiny underneath the brows, but I still want the hint of gold coming through. So what I'm going to apply now is something called Hydromastics. This is for the glitters. The trick is that it's a see-through liquid, but it has a shininess to where it's being applied. So you have to be sure that you only apply this to the exact area that you want your glitter to stick. Very important for your client to keep her eye closed until you're completely finished. Using glitter number 13, I'm going to pat it onto this area where I've applied the Hydromastics. The glitter will only stick to the area where you've got the Hydromastics. You have to be sure that every single little area that had some stickiness to it, that it is completely covered now. Once you've finished, you can dust off the excess. I'm just going in with my black color, making sure that any other glitter that is in my crease gets covered. Now with my gel liner, I'm going to give this eye a little bit of a wing. And just to bring in another color underneath my liner, I'm going to do a thin liner with my Hydromastics once again, using the glitters number 10, 21 and 12 to create my own little blue shade. We're going to give it a hint of blue in the corner. Same as before, once it's applied, you can dust off the excess. You can go back now and reapply your gel liner. Because of the glitters that I'm using, I'm also going to use my gel liner at the bottom of the eye. So right where your lashes come, very lightly touch it with your gel liner. And just because I've used the glitters, I'm going to apply my gel liner at the top area even before I apply my lashes, just so that there's no glitters that will be stuck between my lashes and my liner. Okay. So now I'm going to apply the lashes. Also first by fitting them. So by cutting off any of the excess lashes so that it fits perfect for your client's eye. Once it's measured, you can then apply. So after you've applied the glue, give it a few seconds just to start drying, and then you can apply. Remember to try and get as close as possible to that lash line. And remember to tap it to make sure it's stuck nicely. As close as possible to the natural lashes. So for filling in her brows, because she has such light brows, I'm going to go with stone mixed with woody. So see, I'm using the brush flat, and then once I start going towards my highest point, I'm turning it to use it in its angle. All that I've done is outline the eye, and I'm using the same rusty color that we applied at the top to just add a little bit of that reddish tone tint at the bottom. And now I'm smudging a little bit of a black with that, just so that it goes into my lovely blue little glitter liner. If you have any glitter that's still kind of sticking somewhere, just use a little bit of your loose powder and dust over that, because then there might be some bit of oiliness on your model's skin on those specific spots, and the powder will just dust them away. So I'm going to use caramel and cappuccino, and then I'm going to use a little bit of rose and shy peach mixed, just to give on the apple of the cheek a little bit of a pinky blush color. And because this is such a glittery, glowy look, I'm also going to use my rose sparkle. So you'll see this is quite a shimmery product because it's pure pigments. And I'm just going to highlight the cheekbone. And for this look, I'm going to do something very nude on the lips, so I'm just using a nudish color lip liner. For this to be that nude as I want it to be, I'm just going to use a little bit of my concealer color number 2, just to lighten the lips even more before applying my very light lip color. So for my lip color, I'm mainly going to be using LS3 and just a hint of LPP2. So as you can see, this is a very, very nude color that then gets applied because you've done the bit of concealer color underneath, just lightening up that lip. As my last and final touch, I'm just going to apply my mascara. And that's the look for today.